Hello everyone. Let's determine whether this sequence, this series is what converges or what diverges, or even what inconclusive. Okay. Now we are given that the summation of what n equals to what 0 to what infinity of what n square multiplied by 2 raised to the power of n plus 1 divided by what 3 raised to the power of what n. When a series is converges, what did it mean? When a series is diverges, what did it mean? And when a when a series is what inconclusive, what did it mean? First of all, I want you to understand that un can represent a set of what series, right? Now, this un is the initial state of the term, which is this. So it's what n square multiplied by 2 raised to the power of n plus 1 divided by what 3 to the power of n. Then what will be, if this is the initial state, what will be the next series? What will be the next series simply means that you add 1 to this term that's here, this n that's here, the terms, n terms. You add 1 to it. That one you add to it will tell us the next sequence, right? So we're going to add this is what un, we're going to add 1 to it. This one added to each term, you're going to tell us the next, what will be the next sequence series. So this will be equals to, anywhere I see n, put what? N plus 1. You square it, that is as what? 2 raised to the power what? N plus 1. So you don't say here will be plus 2 because 1 plus 1 is 2. That's why I'm having 2 here. Because 1 plus 1 will give us 2. Then divided by 3 to the power what? N plus what? 1. This is the next what? The next what? Series. Now compare this to this. Are they the same? No, they are not the same because yes, 1, yes, 2. Yes, n, and yes, n plus 1. So this is the next sequence. So this is the next series, and this is the initial what? Series. Let me say, for example, I have if I have 1, let me say I have 2, 4, 6. So if I ask what will be the next, you see, what will be the next? How are we going to have what to do with the next here? So you can either add 1 to it. So if you add 1 to here, you're going to have 3. Add 1 to here, you're going to have 5. Add 1 to here, you're going to have 7. Then add 1 to 7, you're going to have 8. You see? So this is very, very, very what interesting. Now, from our ratio test, we're going to show us something very interesting. From our ratio test, our ratio test simply means that we are dividing this by this. So we're going to add that u n plus 1. This is u subscript what? N plus 1 divided by un. When this is greater than 1, it's called what? It's called converges. That means that series converges. Then when u subscript n plus 1 divided by un is less than 1, it's called what? Diverges. Then when u subscript n plus 1 divided by what? Un is equals to 1, is called what? Inconclusive. Okay, so from here I want to solve this question. Okay, so that means I'm going to divide this. I'm going to divide this by this. But let's simplify this. So if you simplify this, you're going to have this is what? N square plus 2n, because if I expand this, let me just expand for clarity purpose. You look at n plus 1 multiplied by into n plus 1, right? Because having square. Then by the properties of indices, I have n plus 2 here. I can write that as 2 raised to the power of n multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 2. Because if the bases are the same, I can take a single base and add the powers, right? Now exactly what is here. Then divided by what? Divided by, yeah, I'm going to have what? 3 to the power of what? N multiplied by what? 3 to the power of 1. If I take a single base and add the powers, I'm going to have exactly what is here, right? Now, divided by, look at division sign. I'm not put my division sign here. Divided by this, which is what? N to the power of n square multiplied by 2 raised to the power of what? N multiplied by 2 raised to the power of what? 1. Because if I have n plus 1 here, if I take a single base here and add the powers by the properties of what? Indices, I'm going to have exactly what is here. Then divided by what? 3 to the power of what? N. Now, let's simplify this further. N times n will give us n squared, right? N times 1 will give us plus n. And 1 times n will give us plus what? N. And 1 times 1 will give us plus what? Plus 1. Okay? Then this will become 2 raised to the power of n multiplied by 2 raised to the power of what? Let me say here, will give us 4. Because 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4. Then all divided by 3 to the power of n multiplied by 3 to the power of 1. Then by obeying the properties, there's some properties in mathematics. Maybe you're in your grade 12, your grade 3, your grade 2, or grade 4. You know, our teachers always told you that when you have a division sign here, you want to change this to multiplication sign, you will bring up the what? The denominator and bring down the what? Numerator. So this is not to what? Multiply by 3 to the power of n divided by n squared multiplied by 2 raised to the power of what? N multiplied by what? 2. Now let's cancel out this. Will cancel out this, as you can see, and this will cancel out this, as you can see. So we are left with what? 4 multiplied by n squared plus 2n, because n plus n is 2n. Then plus what? 1. Then all divided by what? 3 times n squared is 3n squared. 3n squared times 2 to give us 6n what? Square. Now, what number can go here? Also go here. 2 go here, will give us 2. 2 go here, give us 3. So that this is 2 into what? N squared plus 2n plus what? 1. Then all divided by what? 3n what? Square. So this will be equals to what? 2 times n will give us 2. 2 times n squared will give us 2n squared. 2 times 2 will give us plus 4n. 2 times 4 will give us plus what? 2. All divided by what? 3n what? Square. Wow, this is amazing, right? This is Procedurinius and I love it. Now, when you take the limit of this ratio test, where n tends to infinity, you're going to give us our result, which is our n. Okay, that means the limit, okay, of our u n plus 1 divided by u n, where our n tends to what? Infinity, is equals to what? N. And this n is our what? Is our what? Is our result. We have what? That this will either determine whether it's converges or what? Diverges. Okay. So let me remove this from here quickly, so that I can do it. Let me remove this from here quickly. So let's take the limit of this. So the limit of what? Into 2n squared plus 4n plus 2, all divided by 3n squared, where our n tends to what? Infinity. Now remember, this is a limit of a function. And if you are done limit of a function, when your n tends to infinity, you know what to do. You always check the highest power of the unknown. So if you check here, the highest power of the unknown here is what? Is n to the power of 2. So we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest power of the unknown. So we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by what? N to the power of 2. Okay. So if we do that, I don't want to remove this, so I want to make use of this. Let me remove this visual test. So if we do that, let's see what you're going to have. If we do that, to have this is what? 2n to the power of 2 divided by n to the power of 2 plus 4n divided by n to the power of 2 plus 2 divided by n to the power of 2, all divided by 3n squared divided by n to the power of 2. Because we are dividing both the numerator and the denominator by n to the power of 2, right? So if I remove this from here quickly, okay, now this will cancel out this. I will left with only 2. So here is 1. By indices law, I'm going to add this is plus 4n to the power of minus 1. Okay, because this 2 will go up, and 1 minus 2 get to give 1 minus 1. Then plus 2 divided by n squared. Then all divided by what? This will cancel out this. I'll left with just 3. So here I can write this as what? Equal what? 2 plus 4 divided by n. Because this can also go down, like n to the power minus 1 is equals to 1 divided by n. And 4 times n will give us what? 4 times 1 will give us 4. Okay. Then plus what? Plus 2 divided by n squared, all divided by what? 3. At this point, we can substitute our what? Our infinity. So we will add that 2 plus 4 divided by infinity. Okay. Then plus 2 divided by what? Into infinity square, then all divided by what? 3. Right? Now, let me remove this from here quickly. So, remember that any number divided by infinity is 0. Any number divided by infinity is equals to 0. So, you know that this is 2 plus 0 plus what? 0, all divided by 3 is equal what? Now, 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. So, that this is 2 divided by what? 3. And what is 2 divided by 3? This will give us, this is in what? Proper fraction, right? This is proper fraction because 2 is less than 3. So what will be the result in decimal? So that I can know, I can determine either is what? Converges or diverges. That means I have to do something very interesting, okay, for me to determine that. So I want to do some math, some simple math here because I'm not with any calculator here. So this will be my what? This will be my 3. This will be my 2. Okay. Now 3 cannot go into 2. 3 cannot go. So if 3 cannot go, I put my 0 here. And 0 times 3 give us 3. So 0 times 3 going to give us 0 here. Put your subtraction sign here. Roll your line. 2 minus 0 going to give us 2. Now since again 3 cannot go, what you do, you add your what? You add your 0 here. As you're adding your 0 here, you put your decimal point here. Now let's see how many times with 3 going to 20. Let's count 20. Well, I know that will give us. Let me just use my phone to check. I don't want to. I want to check. I don't want to go very far. If not, let me just be very fast with it so that I can get that result fast. Okay. Okay, I'm not very fast with it. Okay. I have 0 point. Let me just remove this from here quickly. So this is equals to what? 0 0.66667. So what I'm going to do now, let me put this in one decimal place. So if I put this in one decimal place, I'm going to have 0.7. This is in one decimal place, this is in 3 decimal place, right? This is in one decimal place. Now let's compare this to all this. Because when this, okay, when the limit, because I have to take limit of all this, when this is greater than 1, it's called converges. Because you have to determine whether this is converges or diverges, right? So when this is greater than 1, it's called what? Converges. And when this is less than 1, it's called what? Diverges. And when this is equals to 1, look at, it's not equals to 1, it's not even 1. So we are not interested in this. This is already cancelled. Let's consider this 2. Now, when it's less than 1, look at, when this is less than 1, it's called what? Converges. And when this is greater than 1, it's called what? No, when this is greater than 1, it's called what? Converges. And when this is less than 1, it's called what? Diverges. Now, let's check. 0. Look at, this is 0.7. It's not even up to 1. It's around, this is less than. Okay? So that means there's error from here. So this thing should be less than. And this should be greater than. Okay, so when this is greater than 1, it's called diverges, and when it's less than 1, it's called what? Converges. Okay, there was error here. All right, I'll fix it. So you can see that when it's less than 1, this is not up to 1, so it's less than 1. So you can see that this sequence, this series is converges. So it's what? Converges. It's called what? So this is equals to m, and it means it's what? Is converges. Converges. Why is it converges? It's converges because it's less than 1. And 0.7 is less than 1. It's not up to 1. You can see 0.7 is less than 1. So that's why it's converges. Very simple and interesting, okay? So this is a beautiful solution to this question. So you have determined that this series is what? Converges, not diverges. Diverges simply means it should be greater than what? You can see it should be greater than 1. That means it will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means it diverges. But when it's less than 1, it's called what? Converges. And this is a beautiful solution to this question. So thank you so much for watching. Please, if you find it interesting, don't hesitate. Do it to like, comment, and share to loved ones so others will learn from it. And again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe so that anytime other exciting videos, you'll be notified. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.